Imagine standing on the most dangerous border in the world, a line where millions of soldiers face each other every day. You see barbed wire, landmines, machine guns. But what you don't see is what lies beneath your feet. Hidden in darkness, carved through solid rock, are tunnels designed not to escape, but to invade. For decades, the ground beneath Korea has carried a terrifying secret. And even now, no one knows how many of those tunnels still exist. Beneath one of the most dangerous borders on Earth lies a hidden world. A world of darkness, stone, and silence. North Korea's secret tunnels, designed not for escape, but for invasion. For decades, rumors spread that North Korea wasn't just watching from above ground, but digging below. What was uncovered would shock the world. Vast underground highways carved beneath the DMZ, stretching towards South Korea's heart. The Korean War ended in 1953 with a ceasefire, not a peace treaty. The line that cut the peninsula in half became the Demilitarized Zone, a 250-kilometer stretch of land bristling with barbed wire, landmines, and soldiers. To the outside world, it looked like a tense standoff. But underground, something else was taking shape. Imagine walking through quiet farmland in South Korea, not realizing that just beneath your feet, an army could be crawling toward you. Whispers began with villagers near the border. They reported strange rumbles beneath the earth, vibrations in the dead of night. At first, military engineers dismissed the accounts, just collapsing rocks or echoes of distant construction. But soldiers started to notice unsettling signs. Cracks opening in the earth near patrol routes, fresh piles of dirt where none should be, flocks of birds taking flight as if startled by something deep below. It sounded like paranoia, until 1974. In November of that year, a South Korean soldier was killed by an underground explosion. Investigators searching the area made a discovery that would stun the nation: a narrow, reinforced tunnel running directly under the DMZ. This was tunnel number 1, stretching more than 3 kilometers long, carved deep beneath the border. Inside, they found electric lighting, rail tracks for moving weapons, and ventilation shafts. The blasting marks showed dynamite had been used, angled southward. This was no escape passage. It was an invasion highway, built to pour thousands of troops into South Korea within hours. The discovery made headlines around the world. South Korea accused Pyongyang of planning a secret underground invasion. But North Korea denied everything. They claimed it was nothing more than an abandoned coal mine. To make their case, they even painted the tunnel walls black to look like soot. But experts weren't fooled. The direction of the tunnel, the engineering, the sheer scale, it all pointed one way. This was a weapon hidden beneath the earth. And that was only the beginning. Just 2 years later, in March 1975, another tunnel was discovered. This one was even more ambitious, over 3.5 kilometers long, tall enough to move entire battalions. It was found less than 50 kilometers from Seoul, South Korea's capital. If it had gone undetected, tens of thousands of North Korean troops could have stormed into the city before anyone had time to react. Military engineers estimated the tunnel could funnel more than 30,000 soldiers per hour. The danger was real, and yet, the earth beneath the DMZ was still restless. The rumblings had not stopped. Something else was moving underground. The second tunnel had been sealed, but the discovery left South Korea shaken. If 2 tunnels had already been found in just a few years, how many more lay beneath the earth? The ground beneath the DMZ was no longer just soil and stone. It was a chessboard, and South Korea was losing. The military doubled patrols. Engineers drilled into the earth at suspected sites. Every vibration, every crack, every hollow echo became a possible sign of something below. The fear wasn't just that the tunnels existed. It was that they were invisible until it was too late. Then, in 1978, the third tunnel was uncovered. And this time, it was different. Larger, deeper, more advanced than the others. It cut straight toward Seoul. The scale was staggering. Over a mile long, hundreds of feet underground, with reinforced walls and sophisticated blasting marks. South Korean experts quickly realized the devastating potential. If war had broken out, the tunnel could have unleashed an entire division of soldiers beneath the border in under an hour. The press began calling it the Third Infiltration Tunnel, but the name did little to capture the terror it represented. As engineers explored further, they realized the design was clever, angled in a way that made detection nearly impossible. The entrance was hidden within the North Korean side, masked under rock and forest. Ventilation shafts allowed men to breathe as they dug for months in the darkness. It was not the work of a desperate army. It was precise, methodical, almost industrial. The South Korean government, desperate to prove the threat to the world, invited foreign diplomats to walk inside. Imagine stepping into the earth, down a narrow shaft, and realizing that the path beneath your boots was meant for an invading army. The walls dripped with water. The smell of dynamite still lingered. You could almost feel the weight of thousands of footsteps that had never come, but could have. And yet, as shocking as the third tunnel was, what came next would push the paranoia to its limits. In 1990, over a decade later, South Korean forces uncovered what became known as the Fourth Tunnel. It was smaller, but no less chilling. Built with reinforced granite, stretching over a kilometer, it ran frighteningly close to a South Korean military base. If it had ever been activated, it could have allowed a sneak attack directly into the heart of South Korean defenses. By now, the South Korean military was convinced there had to be more. If they had found 4 tunnels, how many remained undiscovered? Some officials estimated as many as 20. Others whispered that there could be dozens, spanning like a spider's web beneath the DMZ, hidden and waiting. The paranoia grew. Farmers working near the border reported strange sinkholes appearing overnight. Soldiers on patrol described hearing faint scratching sounds deep beneath the soil, as if something was clawing its way up. In some areas, animals refused to graze, as if sensing vibrations too faint for humans to feel. Every creak of the earth carried the same dreadful thought: another tunnel. And yet, whenever South Korea announced a discovery, North Korea scoffed. They accused the South of fabricating the tunnels as propaganda. Each denial was colder, sharper, more defiant. They called the tunnels fabricated showpieces, but the evidence told another story. Every tunnel pointed south, every blast mark aimed outward, every shaft dug with military precision. As the years passed, the mystery only deepened. The 4 known tunnels were sealed, turned into tourist attractions for some, grim reminders for others. Visitors walked along the damp walls and tried to imagine the darkness filled not with cameras and footsteps, but with soldiers armed for war. And still, the earth did not rest. New reports surfaced, claims of more tunnels, more vibrations, more hidden shafts waiting in the silence. But as South Korea dug and drilled, many searches came up empty. Were the tunnels simply too well hidden? Or was the threat far greater? That the ones they hadn't found were still active, waiting, concealed beneath a land divided? The deeper investigators looked, the more unsettling the patterns became. Some geologists warned that the tunnels could stretch far beyond the DMZ, possibly branching into networks no one had dared to map. Intelligence analysts whispered of vast underground cities in North Korea, bases carved from stone, connected by miles of passageways. If the rumors were true, the tunnels already discovered were just the surface of a much larger secret. And so the question lingered: were these 4 tunnels all there was? Or were they only the beginning of something hidden deeper, darker, and far more dangerous beneath the earth? The 4 known tunnels have been sealed. Tourists now walked where soldiers once dug, cameras flashing where dynamite once roared. To some, the tunnels became history. To others, they remained unfinished business, a reminder that the ground beneath Korea was never truly silent. For South Korea, the mystery was a wound that refused to close. Every time an earthquake shook the peninsula, whispers spread that it wasn't nature at all, but digging. In villages near the DMZ, farmers told stories of cattle refusing to graze, of water wells that suddenly went dry, of hollow echoes when striking the earth with a shovel. Engineers investigated, drilled, mapped, and sometimes found nothing. But the suspicion never faded. Defectors from North Korea only fueled the fire. Some claimed to have worked on tunnel construction themselves, digging day and night in the dark with only weak lamps and the promise of survival. Others whispered of vast underground complexes stretching deep into the mountains of the north. Secret bunkers, command posts, and weapons factories hidden from satellites. A world beneath the world. One defector described a tunnel so vast it could fit tanks, not just soldiers. Another spoke of a network that branched like veins beneath the DMZ, reaching toward multiple South Korean cities. These claims could never be verified, but they ignited fears. What if the 4 tunnels were just the ones unlucky enough to be found? What if the true invasion routes were still active, hidden far deeper, waiting for a war that never came? The mystery reached a chilling point in the early 2000s, when South Korea's military reported fresh intelligence suggesting new tunnels under construction. Seismic sensors picked up faint vibrations, patterns too regular to be earthquakes. But despite drilling dozens of test holes, nothing was confirmed. Were they false alarms? Or had North Korea simply dug deeper, beyond the reach of detection? Meanwhile, North Korea continued to deny everything. Each time the subject arose, they dismissed it as lies, as propaganda meant to demonize them. But their denials rang hollow against the silence of stone and the testimony of those who claimed to have seen more. The truth was buried, literally, in darkness. And then a new twist. Satellite images began to reveal strange anomalies. Mounds of earth appearing near the border, ventilation shafts hidden in forests, patterns in the terrain that didn't quite add up. Analysts debated furiously. Were these signs of tunnels, or innocent mistakes of nature? No one could say for sure. By now, the tunnels had become more than physical passages. They were legends, symbols of paranoia, shadows stretching across the minds of 2 nations still technically at war. To step into one of those damn corridors was to step into a story that was never finished. Today, visitors who descend into the tunnels walk past blast marks, dripping walls, and heavy concrete barricades sealing the way forward. They see yellow signs warning of danger, hear the echoes of footsteps in a place meant for war. They emerge back into daylight with a chill, knowing they've walked in the very path where history could have turned catastrophic. But the final question remains, the question that refuses to die. Were there only 4? Or are there still tunnels waiting in silence, hidden deeper, unseen, untouched, ready to open when the time is right? The DMZ remains one of the most fortified borders in the world. Above ground, soldiers watch each other through binoculars, guns ready. But beneath their boots, the earth holds secrets no one has fully uncovered. Secrets carved in darkness, waiting in silence, reminding the world that sometimes the most dangerous threats are not the ones we can see, but the ones still hidden underground. They sealed the tunnels. They built barricades. They told the world the danger was gone. But the earth beneath Korea has never been silent. Defectors speak of more passageways. Satellites capture shadows that don't belong, and the ground itself trembles with unanswered questions. Were those 4 tunnels the only ones? Or just the ones we were meant to find? Until the day the earth gives up its secrets, the truth of North Korea's underground world will remain buried. In darkness, in silence, and in mystery.